Hello everyone, Gamertag here, and for today's video we are back in Generation 1 as we tackle Pokemon Red version with just one Butterfree. Now, I'd already done Beedrill, and then I thought about going back into Generation 1 since Generation 1 on this channel has actually done quite well. And then I thought, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, let's do Butterfree, because we've tested Beedrill in Gen 1, we've tested it in Fire Red. Let's start off Pokemon Red with Butterfree. Because Butterfree is a very different Pokemon, has a very different moveset, and is actually a Pokemon that I expect to do quite a bit worse. And to some of you that might be a little bit surprising, considering we have higher special, Mega Drain is going to do more, and Butterfree is, I feel like, a Pokemon that a lot of people seem to prefer. At least, I like Butterfree. So, here's why I'm expecting it to be worse. You see our stats and the level up moves on the left, moves are on the right by TM. We get some decent moves. Mega Drain is good, Psychic, Psybeam, and all those are good. But the main problem here is the main move pool. We don't get Harden in Red and Blue like we did in Pokemon Yellow. But here's the Caterpie we got, we name it Low Fat. Thank you, Zirkle, for the nickname, Butter, Low Fat. It's good, I like it. But the reason why I expect Butterfree to be more difficult is because we don't have anything to boost our damage output. See, Beedrill had Swords Dance, and Butterfree doesn't get any of that. It doesn't get growth, it doesn't get amnesia, it doesn't get harden, it doesn't get agility, it doesn't get a single boosting move to help it out in any way, shape, or form. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do. Also, if you're wondering why we're training not in Viridian Forest, it's because I don't want to risk getting poisoned by Weedle every single time. Because in Pokemon Red, Weedle is more common, and in Blue version, the Caterpie line's more common. So I don't want to be getting poisoned every now and then and having to cure it. So we're just going to be taking out Nidoran Mail and stuff. Now, we're going to show this bug catcher battle because in Generation 1 there's some things different. Poison, as you can see, is super effective to us despite us being a bug type. What's also interesting is bug is super effective to poison, but also notice how we only lost a 16th of our health from the poison. We lost 2 damage, which would be a 16th in this case, as opposed to losing an 8th, which would be about 4 HP. So it's extremely interesting, but Brock is not interesting. Brock is very easy, just as you would expect, and while Beedrill needed to be all the way up to level 20 to get Twin Needle to actually win this fight, Butterfree is able to win this fight at level 12 with absolutely no struggle at all. Not just because we used Confusion and didn't use struggle, but really, Butterfree beats Brock, no effort. Now we can take out the trainers east of Pewter City, and we're gonna probably fight all of them. We're gonna need some serious leveling up for the next portion of the game, because it's going to get much harder very, very quickly. We have the rival battle at Nugget Bridge, which probably won't be easy, because I don't think we'll be able to do enough damage. But we also have Misty, and we only have Confusion, and Starmie resists it because it's part Psychic, and then we have Lieutenant Surge, that I know there is no way we're beating Surge, unless we probably get really lucky, because Thunderbolt from Raichu is basically going to decimate us immediately. I'm not confident. Sure, it gets easier after Surge with having Giovanni and Erika and potentially Koga, but Lieutenant Surge is going to be surprisingly one of the most difficult fights we're probably going to have. But before we can get up to the rival in Cerulean and Misty, we're going to pick up the Helix Fossil, because praise Lord Helix, and yes, I will probably always take the Helix Fossil. Okay, so how is the rival going to go? Well, I will tell you this took me a few attempts, and as much as I didn't want to use Sleep Powder because Sleep in Generation 1 is incredibly overpowered, you could stay asleep for 5-6 turns, maybe more, you don't get to attack when you wake up, all that good stuff. but Sand Attack became such a problem that without Sleep Powder, we would have had to level grind probably quite a bit to even win, and I even still thought we would lose even at this point, but thankfully we crit Confusion on Charmander, who just uses Growl. So we leveled up a lot to attempt Misty, taking out every trainer around the area that we could. Staryu was easy with 2 Confusions, didn't do any damage. Starmie came out, and I went for Tackle. I thought about Sleep Powder, but I'm like, no, I'm trying to win it without Sleep Powder here. We confuse her with Confusion. Amazing, I know. She hits herself, gets hit with Poison, hits herself again, Poison damage. Then we finish her off with 2 Tackles and somehow get the win on our first try. I honestly did not think we'd win that on the first try, but I will gladly take it. Now we can move on to the rival in the SSN, which there's one thing here that normally is useful, which is Body Slam, but Butterfree can't learn it, which is really upsetting because it'd be way better than Tackle. But we're a special attacker, so it's fine. Raticate is a 2-shot with Confusion, Kadabra comes out, and we just go for Tackle, which is going to be a 2-hit. Thankfully, it gets rid of Poison Powder, which we aren't going to be using. Disable in Gen 1 is completely random. We get burned from Charmeleon's Ember, but thanks to Low Fat just surviving off of an Ember, we are able to get the win on our first try. But, spoiler alert, we're not ready for Surge. In no realm at all can we win this fight at level 29. I tried at least 7 times. And every single time we would either get paralyzed by Pikachu, or Raichu would just decimate us with Thunderbolt and Thundershock, or it just crit Thunderbolt because it's Gen 1, and we were not doing enough. It was a 4-hit with Confusion at that point, and it just wasn't going to be doing enough. So we're going to take out the Hiker here, who doesn't blow up, and we're going to get Psybeam and try Surge again. So Sonic Boom misses from Voltorb, which is great. Pikachu is a 1-shot with Psybeam, Raichu comes out, we hit Psybeam, he gets confused, hits himself, and then we win. Okay, well, maybe we could have just grinded to 32 and won anyway. You know what? I'll take it. Alright, let's get Erika out of the way so that we can get Mega Drain. So Victory Bell is going to be a 2-shot with Psybeam as it just poisons us. I'm not really that worried about it, but Tangless Bind is annoying because how Bind and Wrap work in this game is if you're burned or poisoned, every single time that move continues, you take status damage, which is a bit annoying, but we get through it, and Vileplume does absolutely nothing. That Petal Dance, it was basically a scratch. It did 5 damage. But now we have Mega Drain, and we are going to be teaching that immediately. Also, comment for the algorithm. Anyway, we're going to go fight the rival in Pokemon Tower. I thought about the Rocket Hideout, but I realized that this fight was much tougher than I initially anticipated, because you can see now we have Psychic, and without Psychic, we couldn't even do enough. And what's actually funny is once we taught Psychic, we hardly used it. We used it twice to 2-shot Gyarados. Well, I thought we were going to, and then I was like, no, we'll just get health back. We probably could have 2-shot with Psychic, but it's fine, we're going to end up winning anyway. But the problem was, we weren't doing enough without Psychic, and you can see just how little Psychic did, even if it did drop a special. Now, dropping special is a 50% chance, which is insane in Gen 1, but we are able to get the win. But this only makes me wonder how tough those later fights are going to be. Alright, so Giovanni was incredibly easy. We're not even fully healed. We absolutely destroyed his team. He could have done everything in his power, and it wouldn't have mattered. Like, we didn't even take a hit. Granted, the Psychic crit definitely mattered. But hey, unsurprisingly, Giovanni was easy. With that out of the way, we can go pick up the Surf HM and the Warden's Nasty Dentures. Yuck. Ugh, I don't even want to know how disgusting those had to feel when the trainer found them, or how unthrilled he was. But hey, Surf is going to be useful. Oh yes, also a reminder, Gen 1 Safari Balls are completely worthless. Get them, and just get Surf and leave that bad. Moving on to Koga, who surprisingly we beat on our first try. Now, how the AI in Gen 1 is set up is they will use super effective moves if they have them. Well, if they're gym leaders anyway. Koga, however, sometimes likes to just decide to use X attacks or poison gas, and because of that, we beat him on our first try. If he would have just used Sludge even more than once, we probably would have lost. But hey, I'll take it. The Silphco rival fight, however, was a disaster. I tried this fight quite a few times, and had to get really lucky, and the poison powder poisoning us ended up hurting us a lot more than I thought, considering how little damage we take. The problem is, because he has an Alakazam, we were losing so much health every time we would attack because we were doing next to nothing. Thankfully, all of our special drops work out, well, they work out decently as we get some health back, but it's enough for us to actually win because the Charizard's Ember doesn't do enough. If he had anything stronger than Ember, we probably would have been here for a while, but we'll take it. With that done, we're going to knock out Giovanni again in Silphco. He is just as easy as you would have expected last time, because he has more poison types for Butterfree to just decimate with Psychic. I mean, even Nidoqueen's best move was Poison Sting. I'm not really surprised at this outcome, and I'm sure neither are you. Now, I wasn't going to fight Blaine yet. I really wasn't. But Blaine's AI generally is notoriously bad in this game. But what makes this interesting is he can't really be notoriously bad when the only moves he's going to use against us are his fire moves. Thanks to a crit Psychic to one-shot Rapidash and the special drops that we got early, we were able to hang on with just enough health left to win. I did not think we'd first try that, but I'm also not surprised just because it's Blaine. Now, Sabrina's a fight that you might think would be much tougher, and I kinda messed up here going for Psybeam, thinking it might take it out, but we didn't really hurt ourselves at all because she didn't really do much damage. Mr. Mime is gonna go for Confusion, which you can see how little that's doing, especially after the special drop. We do hit ourselves in Confusion, but she just goes for Barrier, which isn't really gonna help her at all. Venomoth is a one-shot with Psychic, and Alakazam, we go for Psychic, drop Special. She uses the always useless Psywave, then Psybeam. Eventually we chip her down, and finish her off with Mega Drain, and get the win. Well, at least we can have an easy gym fight, because, let's be honest, I mean, Giovanni could have the best team in the world and still lose. So Rhyhorn is a one-shot with Mega Drain. Dugtrio is a two-shot with Psybeam because someone didn't know if Mega Drain would KO, but it's fine, Sand Attack didn't hit. Nidoqueen is a one-shot with a critical Psychic. Nidoking is just a one-shot anyway because it's not as strong defensively, and Rhydon, of course, is a one-shot with Mega Drain. Huh. It's like I said there's no way we'd lose or something. Man, is Giovanni the worst 8th gym leader? I'm not honestly sure, but he's definitely pretty bad. So, we're going to do the last rival fight before the Pokemon League, and we need a different strategy. So let me introduce to you Gen 1 Mimic. Now, a lot of you probably know Mimic now as allowing you to just take the last move that they used. Well, in Generation 1, you could use it against a Pokemon and pick any of the moves that it knew, and you would be able to use that move 9 times, or however many power points of Mimic you had left. Now, we don't end up winning this time because I think we just maybe need a few more levels here, and the poison damage is definitely hurting us. But even when we didn't get poisoned, we just couldn't break through his whole team because we just couldn't do enough to Charizard, and he would always finish us off. So we're back at level 62, and we Psychic, and then we Mimic Wing Attack from Pidgeot just so we can have a good move for Execute. It doesn't even matter that we take damage because we'll always fully heal it from Rhyhorn. Execute is a 2-shot with Wing Attack, and we finally dodge that Poison Powder. Gyarados comes out as we Psychic, drop his special, Mega Drain. But we didn't do as much with Mega Drain as I hoped, but I think we'll still be okay. We crit the Psychic on Alakazam, which just goes for Reflect. We then use Psychic as he reflects again. He hits Recover, we Wing Attack, hit Psybeam, and then we get lucky and crit Wing Attack to finish him off. To get through the Reflect, we Psychic, drop Charizard Special, and then hang on due to the Special drop and take him out with a Psychic. Man, I don't even want to know how difficult that last fight's gonna be. But hey, at least now we can be on our way to the Elite Four. Now, our first trainer's Loreli, and I don't really expect her to be difficult since we have Mega Drain, and we can just have Slowbro come out and just probably just mimic Amnesia and just destroy her whole team. But Bruno, also, it's Bruno. He's always easy. Like, I could beat him in my sleep and probably with half a brain. But Agatha might be a different story. And she might not even be that bad. Because we have Psychic, but she can just... You never know what you're going to get with Agatha. Lance, I don't know, but the rival, he's going to be awful. Especially considering how tough those last couple fights were, this is not going to be easy. So these are our stats before the Pokemon League, and they're honestly not bad for a Butterfree. I do wish our special and our speed were better, even maybe with better HP. Our DV in this case for HP was only decent, but let's see how this goes. So right out of the gate, we get a critical Psychic and a special drop against Dugong, so we take it out with Mega Drain. We Psychic on Cloyster, Aurora Beam doesn't do that much, and we take her out. That crit didn't matter. We were going to take it out. And now we can mimic Amnesia against Slowbro, and she's going for Amnesia too, but she's not going to be able to do enough damage to us anyway. You can see how little Water Gun is doing. So we take her out with no effort at all, thanks to our incredibly high special. Jinx, we go for Psychic. Ice Punch doesn't do that much. I was worried about it freezing us, which you cannot recover in any way. And then we crit Mega Drain on Lapras, which bypasses all of our special boosts, but then we take her out with the next Mega Drain, getting us an easy win. Bruno was just as easy as you would expect. In fact, so easy that we didn't even take a hit. Even when Machamp came out and survived Psychic, instead of attacking us with anything, he just used an X-Defend. Yet it couldn't defend his poor move choice. Way to go, Bruno, you never disappoint. Next up is Ghost Trainer Agatha. Psychic does decent damage to the Gengar as we take Nightshade, and Nightshade is where I was worried. Golbat is a one-shot with Psychic. The Haunter afterwards is a one-shot with a critical Psychic. Arbok is a one-shot with Psychic, and her last Gengar, we're naturally going to go for Psychic, and then she just goes for Toxic, which is fine, so we win. You know, if she would have had Toxic on her first Gengar, we probably would have lost, but I'll take it. Lance, though, Lance was a different story. It was an awful fight in every possible way, and we're pretty much stuck just using Psychic the whole time. And I know I'm using Sleep Powder here, but you know what? I said it would be used as a last resort, and this was really the only way that we were going to win. So we take Agility from the Dragonair, and we start boosting our stats to do a little bit more damage. It's not enough for us to KO the Dragonair with Psychic, but we can finish it with Mega Drain. Aerodactyl, we take a critical Psychic for a one-shot. And Dragonite just is going to go for Barrier. It's not going to do any damage to us at all. Even trying to stall time with the Hyper Potion, it doesn't matter, because we finally can take a shot at the Pokemon Champion, and I am not... No, we're just going to save it here. We're doing this. Let's probably get destroyed here, because I am not confident. So we're coming in at level 70. Just where we left off against Lance. Now, I can't turn move animations off, so I apologize. For those of you that don't want to see little flashes, just avert your eyes or something. I have them off, but they're forced on for the champion fight. We're going to hit Psychic on Alakazam. He goes for Reflect, which is great because that's what we like to see. But we're not getting the special drops, and we're just going to reset there. Now, I wasn't going to just reset, but without a special drop, we're going to just take too much damage on the Alakazam. And even though Rhydon comes out next, we still have a Gyarados to work through, an Exeggutor to work through, and I also needed to try to figure out a strategy. So what we're going to do is we're probably just, I feel like we're going to need Mimic. Now, the problem that we have too is he's using Mirror Move, and he will use it because it's a flying move because of the Gen 1's good AI. The problem is, if he drops our special, we can't win by default. So we go for Psychic here, we lower his special, and we just have to KO him. Now, I wanted to try to mimic Wing Attack there, but we can't, because he was going to go for Sky Attack, and that was going to do too much damage. Then he crits a Psychic, and we have to reset again. Yeah, this is, if you're wondering, so this fight alone took me over 40 minutes. Mostly because we need so many things to go right just for us to win. And you can just see, like, if we get a critical Psychic, we're in trouble. So now is when I decided that we're going to use Mimic. Now, he's going to Mimic Psychic. The thing is, he won't use it. And the reason why he won't use it is because it's not a flying move anymore. So now we can use Wing Attack on Alakazam. We don't do that much, as he hits Psybeam. And I was really hoping we would do half to it thanks to Alakazam's bad defense, but we don't. This time he goes for Reflect as we go for Psychic, but we don't get a special drop, so I go for Mega Drain. He then goes for Psybeam, but we're going to be able to take him out with the Mega Drain, which is good. Next comes out Rhydon, and Mega Drain is going to one-shot, so we're going to get a ton of health back. Let's see how we do against Exeggutor as we go for Wing Attack. Hypnosis miss. Wing Attack again. Hypnosis miss. Wing Attack again. Not quite enough. Barrage isn't going to do that much. I'm not worried about Barrage as we take him out. Next out is Gyarados. We go for Psychic and get a special drop. We get hit with Hydro Pump. Doesn't do that much. We go for Mega Drain. It's not doing that much, but we're restoring health. We go for Psychic again and we take him out. Next out is Charizard and we go for Psychic. Fire Blast does good damage, but we can't KO with Psychic, so we're going to need to level up, maybe just a few more levels, and no. I thought 73 would do enough, but we still don't do enough to take him out with 2 Psychics, even with a high roll. So here we are at level 76. So we're just going to Mimic Wing Attack right out of the gate. He's going to take Psychic, it's fine. And you can see how much more damage we're doing now. We actually do over half with the Psychic now. Alakazam comes out as we go for Wing Attack, which is almost doing half now thanks to the extra levels. We then go for Psychic. He goes for Reflect, which is perfect. We end up putting him to sleep. Now, I know I said it's a last resort. I don't want to use it, but, you know, as Papa Roach said, cut my life into pizza. Or he said something like that. But anyway, I thought about trying to see if I could get a Leer from Rhydon, which didn't actually work here, but I think will be okay. And we Wing Attack, get a crit against Exeggutor, which is amazing because now it's going to be a 2-shot. Gyarados comes out, we hit Psychic, doing some pretty good damage. Leer misses, which I think it's like a 25% chance. He hits Hydro Pump, we hit Psychic, and we finish him off. Last is Charizard, and we're not going to take any chances. We've been at this for 45 minutes. We're just going to put him to sleep, use Psychic, finish him off with another Psychic, and get us the win. Honestly, as much as I wanted to not put him asleep, okay, the last 2 fights alone took me an hour and a half. I didn't want to sit through anymore. But hey, I hope you enjoyed that run. Much tougher than Beedrill, as I expected when I started it. The next one we're going to have is back in Generation 1, as we start with the starters, as we take Bulbasaur through Pokemon Red. Also, leave suggestions down below in the comment section, or join the Discord, link in the description, and leave them in the challenge submission section. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great day.